did the same thing all the time. Consistency.
You are live.
Mom's line.
So,
.com.
so let's go.
Do you remember that as a comeback when we were kids?
.com.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What? How did you miss that? .com.
All right.
It's unavailable.
It has been a bit. And as usual. Flash.
Nope. That was good timing.
We're already gonna get flagged for
Nice,
copyright.
everybody. You ruined everything.
Wait, I'm writing this down.
Okay,
Oh,
it's
okay.
working.
Anyway, so everyone, welcome! Welcome to Natural Ones Live. We haven't done this in a long time, and he's never been on a live. Ever.
Ever.
In his life.
Never.
In
No,
his
I
life.
never
Just
have.
kidding.
I actually never have.
Oh.
That's 100% true.
That's exciting. Welcome.
Congratulations.
Everyone,
Well deserved.
those that don't know, you're not watching the other campaign, what are you doing here? Go watch the other ones first. Anyway, we're glad you're here, and we are glad that you could join us for this pre-Ghost of Saltmarsh release game. It's kind of the prequel to the exciting business that is Saltmarsh, which I'm very excited about. Anyway, so we decided to have multiple campaigns on the channel because why not? Because there's so much D&D out there, we can't confine to just one thing.
If you've got multiple DMs, you might as well have multiple
Yeah,
Ds
and then he,
and M's and games.
and so he's going to be a DM of one of the like upcoming ones.
Someday.
Yeah, we're gonna plan it out. But anyway, we're just saying it's gonna be good.
And then Ashley.
And then Ashley, yeah, she can do some one shots and some long campaigns. I don't know, whatever she wants to do. Sure, indeed. Sure you
I
can.
want to check, make sure the sound. I
It's
He
good.
did. He
It's
just
good.
checked it. We're all set. So anyone that hops on, say hi. Before we used to answer every single person, but it started to get in the way of us role playing because we're like, oh what? Hey, we sounded just like that
The
too.
funny thing is, that's how I kind of inserted myself into the group, is I just started commenting like crazy.
Well, either way, if you're coming to us now, that's great. If you're not, that's fine. You can watch the replay. Hopefully this all goes smooth so we don't have to use the other video, but we have another one. The audio won't be as great, but it will be video. So maybe we
Yeah.
can splice the two together. I don't know. Anyway, so thank you so much. We're going to get started right away. And if there's anything... Oh, this man today has started a podcast. And it's not released yet. It's not released yet.
No.
But it's in the process. And he's going to start doing it. What's it called?
It's called
Talk about it.
It's called First Watch. It's with me and my good buddy Dan. He's another one of my gaming friends. Between the two of us, we have over 35 years of gaming experience.
you sound so old when you say it
No,
that way.
but it's true though. Between the two of
It's
us,
not that
combined.
35 is old, but
Yeah,
just
but
like older than what you are.
It's older than our demographic.
Yeah. So 35 years of gaming experience. So we're going through topics. We're answering your questions. So if you guys have any questions that you want answered, email those over to firstwatchpodcast@gmail.com.
It's so official. I love it. We have announcements at the beginning of our stuff. And also, we'd like to thank our patrons at Patreon and also PayPal, people that just send it straight, which is either way is fine with me. But the important thing is we appreciate you because you're the beginning of something that is going to be much larger. And it used to be just me alone talking to myself up there in that room, and then everyone else just started to join, and it's honestly a dream of ours to do this kind of stuff, do our podcast, do all sorts of things with you. So we appreciate the patrons because you make it possible. And it's weird that you throw money at us, but thank you. I don't know why you do sometimes.
When you say that, all I think of is Futurama. Take my money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it feels sometimes when they give me the stuff, and it's like, oh, thank you. I'm serious though. I don't understand it, and I appreciate it, and we just love you. So, all right, now to get started on this homebrew campaign that is in the world where Saltmarsh is, but we're not there yet. We are starting in a place a bit northeast of Saltmarsh, and these fine people are part of an expedition Now, the Empire has grown, and if you watched any of the last live all the way through, and some of you did, about 30 of you.
Is it in the same?
It's in the same world.
Okay.
So it's in the same world of that. So the Empire that was there is still the same. What?
We don't have any like Yanti, right? Can we just be done with them?
I can't make any promises. You are in jungles. It could happen. There's not bounty yet.
Okay. Yet?
I'm a DM. I can never promise
Yeti.
anything. Yetis. Lots of Yetis.
Yeah.
I'd rather face Yetis
No, there's
than.
none of them yet.
Oh.
So, yeah,
Oh.
Yeti.
Hello, Bruce. I'm gonna say hi to you, because Bruce, you can be someone in this campaign too. So I'm glad you're here. Maybe perhaps not a corpse.
No joke. I just rolled 4 2s in a row.
It's a
I
sign.
don't think I
One of
should
those
use this
nights.
one.
All
I
right.
think it's time to change that dice out.
And the first pun of the
This one
campaign.
did so well last
It's
time.
like the fourth. Are you kidding?
The first
This is
one.
the first you've
The
got.
first
Sorry
one I-
before we even started though with the light.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have to read the intro,
Yeah.
otherwise I
natural
can't
20
set the
though.
mood and the tone of the story.
Okay.
And as this is the beginning, it's gonna be a page.
So,
Or two.
we need to get some mood music going.
Yeah, could you? I don't think you know the lyrics, but that's okay.
No, I don't.
Anyway,
But you get what I'm talking
it's good
about.
to be back.
Yeah.
What is meant to be serious never can be.
We'll call
I feel like that should be like a chant that like D&D people say. What is dead may never die.
I
Anyway,
feel like that's something else.
I feel like that is too.
I
By the way, I'm
can't
sitting on a
quite-
thing he's really tall, but I'm not this short either, so I'm just letting everyone know. That's important. All right, episode 1.
And I'm not this real tall.
That's true.
But we're all pretty even,
Wow.
give or take.
Yeah.
I feel like we're all almost eye to eye.
It's like we're people.
Episode 1. I hope that pen was really loud. Ooh. Part of the great expedition from the Northlands, you and many others travel through a stretch of land that rare few have ever traveled before. None that anyone has come out of. So discovering new beasts, birds, fauna along your jolly way. You've been south, sure. Some of you have been in the waters of La Mer Noire, which is called the Black Sea, which is where most of this campaign will take place. It's near Saltmarsh. So, this place is called the Wilderness. No one's ever explored here because anyone that's ever gone near here has either met a very bloody fate or something terrible has happened to them and they've come out screaming and otherwise messed up. But the Empire must know what's there. They really, really want to know. So you were promised gold. You and 20 others. You've all been set up with cartographers to map it out, to kind of get a good feel for the land, so the Empire can decide if it's worth destroying and fixing into cities or just knowing about it. You know, as one does. So no one's ever mapped it. Too many stories, but to the Empire, stories are just excuses. And the great reward lay to the party who did so. Your party. La Renard Doré. The Gilded Fox. That's your specific 20 people guild. It's not like a official guild, it's just the Empire's like, call it what you want, go do your thing.
The Gilded Fox?
Le Renard Doré. D-O-R-E with a little tilde. I prefer. So it's a subsidiary guild to the great whole that is the Empire. It began with 20 volunteers, or voluntolds, depending on who you were.
This is a group that we're.
A group from a ship that was sent up way above on this North River area to fork down all the way to the very
so
bottom.
our job is to map out this wilderness.
Yes, and you are guarding a cartographer. Each group,
Oh,
there's
okay.
separate groups that are guarding a cartographer, and we're
Okay,
all
so this
spreading
is
out.
like part of the big. This is the Gilded Foxes, the whole group, not
Yes.
our little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
that's the whole group.
The
That's
I
how
was
you-
like, wow,
yeah,
we're
the
like
20.
we have like a party name.
You know, I know everyone's like, we want to be the Gilded Fox. No. Anyway, so you've traveled. However, it has whittled down as everyone has spread out during different paths to fully map out the region. You started on a big ship, a big galleon. You were followed by little long ships, not as big as like a Viking vessel. for some reason I was going to say Wessel because I went to Norway once and they said the Viking vessels, and so anyway, so not as big as like a Viking vessel, but is a long boat. Think of it like a Viking ship where it's you can go in and out of rapids pretty quickly, but the river's humongous, so it's not like this tiny little thing with this big boat. Anyway, so they each gave you a long boat saying, okay, everyone goes down this river. So you've been going down for quite some time, but everyone's been splitting off, going down different sections of the river to fully map it out. Your group has been set to go from this end to the bottom, which is where Portsmouth is, and most of you have been there before. It's pretty much where you signed up for the job. And from that point, it's just a jaunt and a skip, but for now, you're not sure how far it goes and what happens from point A to point B. Your brave cartographer is a renowned explorer and is meant to reach the final depths of the river's fiercest waters. Each turn, each landmark, each possible settlement location all have a stamp of approval on it. His name is Nels Voré, a bright and shiny type with blonde hair.
Wait, this is the cartographer?
Nels, Nels.
I'm determined to remember names this time.
There's a few. So he's got blonde hair, he's handsome, and he's got a crooked nose. Think of like an Owen Wilson type, but without the wow. But if you want him to say wow, he will. He's got a boisterous feather in his cap, a red cap. His lauded fame and his presence alone didn't warrant excitement for his unconquerable spirit. Like he's the guy that kind of shows up and is like, I'm amazing, and his reputation precedes him. You're excited that you get to at least work with someone who's knows about exploring. He's been all over the place, been in places that you can't even believe. He's kind of like
Gilderoy
Lockhart, which is what I was going to say. You may or may not believe his stories, but they also might be true, because based off of what you've seen from about like 6 miles of this river trip, which is a long time, it's been like about a week or two at this point where I'm at, and he's definitely good at what he does. He's a bit of a anyway. So days passed when finally the last group set off at the fork of the river. Your journey is a journey further, and theirs is to go to the left. And you have seen them the longest. They're a little dwarven party. They are lively, they're kind, they often are good hunters, and they cook well, and they're just great to have along. It lifts your spirits. But now you see them as they disappear around the bend, and you are now your own party going into uncharted territories, and it's kind of that feeling of like comfort gone as you see them pass around the bend.
So there's 4 of us.
There's 4 of you, but there's 3 other people with you.
So there's
7 people in the boat.
7 people in the boat. That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
And the other one's name is Bailiff and Detus. Bailiff and Detus. And then there's Nels. Okay. All right. Where was I?
I'm just gonna make up the spelling since you didn't tell me how to spell them.
That's all right. So here we are.
They're going to die.
Probably.
Are they wearing
Red shirts.
Yes. Good.
They're
I was
wearing red
just about to
shirts.
ask.
I gotcha. So
They're ready.
they'll be dead soon. Just kidding. Everyone, what are you talking? Get settle down. I
Settle
can't wait
back
till
into your-
blood flows. I'm sorry.
You gotta settle into your DM pants
Okay.
before you wait. You're not wearing pants.
You weren't supposed to tell. All right.
He's wearing pants.
Not for
we
long.
did have a big discussion about this.
He's wearing
I was
pants.
hot, okay? All right. So some parts of you... Okay. All right, here, I'm just going to read this part because I wrote it. And I never read what I write. It's just like in talks. I can't do it. All right. Your party and your fearless leader, Nels, went down, 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 to and through uncharted lands, for the land must be conquered, Nels would often say, and push you on, his plume catching the wind in a stupid pose as he always stood up with one foot on the bow. Some parts of you hated his boisterous attitude, but there was a charm to his character, and he was your leader, and even though you knew nothing about the river you went down, he always was there to remind you that when you end, you get paid, and you're getting paid a decent amount. And that will be determined based off of what you bring back. So you're hoping that he's good at his job and that you can keep him alive. That's basically the whole point of this.
just keep him alive.
It's an escort mission, people. Everyone's favorite. The river played the great game of losing itself among the marshlands and mountain forests. And as he scribbled upon parchment, often cursing you for spilling ink on sudden dips or rapids, which was not your fault, the river was unobserved, unrestrained, and it seemed to you as if you were following a growing living creature, sleepy at first, but later developing violent desires as it became conscious of its deep soul. It rolled like some huge fluid being, almost like an elemental. It seemed so lively at times. Holding your little craft on its back, playing roughly at times, but always friendly and well-meaning. At length you regarded it much like a great personage, the personage who fought you by day, and by night would lull you to sleep with its rushing over the pebbles in the riverbed. Its constant steady thundering as you set out day after day, it's how it stood up, and it shouted when the rain fell on its face in the night, and whispered promise of notoriety and even gold at the end of your trip. You, by the end of the trip, knew all its voices. The self-conscious chatter and dignity of its speech and faint whisperings. The water had slowed, and the joy of light-colored trees have descended into willows. You once were in aspens, now in dark, covered lands with crooked branches. The air is heavy, yet cold, at nights. The nights draw you on, and you spot an island in the middle of this large river. From afar it waved to you, thousands of little willows dancing at as the sun started to set. You could just see the reflections coming off the leaves. It's this island that's full of willows. It's just this beautiful, like, methodic movements as you get close. Okay.
Am I the only one that lulled me into sleep? Like, I think of going out like on the fishing boat or something, and I passed out.
That's kind of the
On
idea.
boats out lake, ooh, I'll.
So during
pass out
this
every time.
trip, you've kind of been like enjoying the ride. It hasn't all been lovely. There's been parts, and we'll talk more about that. We must be near the end of the journey. A day or two at most, Nels says. Let's make camp on this charming island. Let us rest up. Perhaps dine on boar or crocodile? And he looks at all of you, just kind of like expecting you to hunt. Nels. You give each other knowing looks.
Nelly.
He never hunts it himself, but there's no arguing with him. You're almost done with this. You're almost to the Black Sea. But as you set up camp at the twilight banks of the willow-covered island...
Is that when we'll be done with our job? Is when we get to the Black Sea?
Yes, which you're not far away. He says a day or two. You pull the longboat up onto the pebbles in the sand and secure it best as possible. The wood against the rock is grating, yet comforting because it's been a long day rowing. And it's been pretty rapids, and it's been... The water has been rising, it seems. So setting up camp isn't difficult, just wet, and you are indeed provided some protection as the rain starts to come a little bit more heavily now. The sight is something to behold. As you finish looking, you look out your tents and you watch a ballet of movement as the trees begin to dance, kind of looking for a way to put you into a deep sleep. There's something calming about this place, but it's time for first watch.
Shameless plug.
That's what I was doing. I was waiting for that. But also, it's time for first watch. Who's taking first watch?
Me.
Who would be rowing the most? So who's going to be resting?
I'm not strong.
What do they see as they're looking at you? Like,
I don't.
Camera pans in, and they see you all kind of sitting around this like tent area. I mean, you guys are underneath a big willow, like the biggest one you can find. And it's just, you haven't gone deep into the island, you've gone to just the very surface.
So we've set up like, what, canvas tents or something?
Yeah, you have canvas tents, and you're kind of putting it like over branches and kind of spreading it out. But the willows are just dripping because it's raining. It's not hard rain yet. But someone needs to take first watch. But first I want to have everyone describe what you see when you see you.
I am a female dragonborn, and I'm silver, and I have a little bit of bronze on, so I'm not just silver, there's like bronze there too. And I'm 6 feet tall, so I'm tall, which is cool. And I'm just kind of menacing because I'm so tall and I'm a dragonborn.
You're wearing like padded armor. But what do your vestments look like? What would you wear kind of with your... clothing?
I don't like this part. You do it.
Okay.
I don't want to describe my outfit.
You're just wearing a
I might be the only girl in history.
You're wearing a gray cloak there. And padded armor.
You made my character. You tell me what I'm wearing.
Nothing at all.
Well, I'm a dragon.
And I guess at this point our characters kind of know each other.
You do. You've been together for almost a month at this point.
Okay.
I did pick my character. He just made the sheet.
I made the sheet.
You scribbled the scribbles.
When looking at my character, you would see a small racial person. He's 3.5 feet tall. He's wearing clothes that look a little bit too big for him. You know, the sleeves go down past his arms and his hands, and he has dark eyes. And other than that, he doesn't look too remarkable. You might see him as a religious person or a cultist, or depending on how you were looking at him. That's kind of how he looks. Yeah.
Okay.
You're a what?
A gnome.
You're a gnome?
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Just this
Do
little.
you have a little pointy hat too?
No.
That's actually offensive.
That's a stereotype.
We don't
We're
have
trying
that
to
here.
break that. She doesn't even go here.
I picked a character that's really tall, and you picked one that's really short. This is pretty good.
And then for my character, who you would at this point know by the name of Key. Okay. He is an adult elf. You're not sure how old, but based on short conversations you would have had, you know he's been through a lot. He's a tan skin, almost a copper, right? Imagine like a dark tan that's almost a red to it. His eyes are a very vivid, bright green, and his hair is short, brown, maybe slightly longer than what you would see like mine and David's hair here, a little bit longer, but not long at all. He's slightly shorter than what you would see an average human male, right? But he whenever there is whenever you're venturing in and you would see him and you'd be rowing, he would be looking longingly into what is to come, into the unknown. But he's kind of soft spoken.
I didn't say my name.
Yeah, me neither. I was just brief description on what he looked like.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
Yeah,
I was
what were your
setting-
names?
But I was setting the stage for Key.
Yeah.
It's
There
a
you
good
go.
job.
Yeah.
It was
It's
well
almost
done.
like he's done this
Well
for
done.
a long time.
I'm
So what were your
My
names?
character's name is Alston.
Alston?
Yeah.
Alston. Okay. And I'm Tatiana.
Tatiana.
Alston,
And
Tatiana,
if you have any care at all, Key would be spelled like KHI, but it sounds like a key.
Kind of like ghee, the butter.
Yeah, sure. And Alston like ALSTON,
Yeah.
and Tatian like TATIAN.
Tatyan.
Oh.
Guys, fantasy.
We must be from Utah.
No, this is what it was in the book.
Yeah.
So
Tatiy.
Tatyan.
There is no I. Okay.
No.
Oh.
Not even a little
There's
bit.
no I in
Whoever
my
put
name.
that name in the book is from Utah.
And what was your name?
Alston.
Alston.
Yeah.
How do you spell it?
ALSTON.
Okay, because I always forget names, guys. How long did it take me to get your name in the other campaign?
Pretty.
It took me a
No,
while.
not too long.
Because his name started with the D too. It was
Yeah.
really hard. I was having a really hard time.
His name.
Yeah, it's a problem. I have so many. I'm glad I didn't get into that. Anyway, so all of you are going to try to sleep, except one of you. Who's taking first watch?
Well,
Me.
yeah. But for me, I don't sleep. I don't need
That's
to sleep.
true. So you're just kind of meditating then,
Yep.
kind of resting,
Like I
calming your
meditate.
muscles because you've been
Yeah.
fighting
I remember
currents
what
all
that
day.
was like.
I meditate for
Yeah.
4 hours a night, so the second watch usually goes to me.
All right. By the way, thank you people that are joining. Appreciate it. All right. So first watch, I need you to roll a d20.
Which dice was I using, the blue or the red?
You were using blue, because
the red gave you 3 twos.
Yeah,
4 twos.
Four.
it was really 3 tuning.
Oh,
3 tuning.
16.
I tried.
That wasn't very good because there was 4 twos. Perception?
Yes.
19.
Okay.
Good job, Blue.
So you're sitting there mid-watch, I would say.
I feel
You're
like I
almost
should like write something down that I got a 19.
like, this is very exciting. Dear diary.
I rolled a 19 on perception.
So mid-watch, the rain becomes even more unpleasant and heavy. You're trying to just kind of sit under your robe. You're fine with water. You grew up around it. It's not a big deal, but when you kind of can't get dry and you're just constantly wet, and you've been all day in just the river, and
But I
you just
don't
want
really
to
get
relax.
cold.
You're not so dealing with that, but it's annoying. So it's just streaming.
penetrating.
It's streaming down each branch. There's not an inch of you that's dry. The ground itself cannot contain it at this point. And those of you who are managing to sleep are now finding your bedrolls filling with water. The water has been rising slowly through the night, and it seems the river has kind of come up. So your camp is a bit ruined and waterlogged.
Soggy.
Well, I think like at this point though, like
You would-
before it,
Yes.
I would wake everyone up and be like, guys,
Water's rising.
our campsite is flooding.
Nell sits up and he's got like one of those masks on his face and he tears it off and just like this like, oh, he's like, oh, okay, stay your ground. I'm gonna go check the boat. Have hearts, lad. At least it's not as bad as the first 3 nights. Remember our friend Delm? And he laughs and starts to walk off. Delm was killed by a creature from the Underdark that dragged him off into the night. So it's definitely not as bad. And it was sleet then, so it's a little bit better. And he has a weird sense of humor, but
Yeah.
he doesn't care. I mean, he's lost many people along his journeys, so he's survived.
Supposedly.
Yeah, he normally came back alone. Just kidding. He's not a good party player. Anyway, so he goes off into the darkness by himself towards the river.
Nels does.
Yeah. Ah! I'm just kidding.
Well, what do we anchor down the boat and get in the boat?
I'm going to follow him because we're
else?
supposed to protect him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our whole job is to protect him, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I follow him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
So
pretty
he starts
close behind
trudging
him.
off, and it's ankle deep. The water. It's like annoying, like in
So
your
like
boots.
knee deep.
Yeah, for you, for like knee deep. Yeah, that's actually pretty good to mention. It's like right here, and you're just like, trudging through.
So are
Anyway,
you guys breaking camp or are you following too?
putting down the rolls and
Oh,
trying to
okay.
do it. So I mean, if you want to follow,
They're
I
right
would have
here.
followed.
Okay.
Okay.
Camp, okay.
because your job is to make money and get him safety.
And their
Yeah.
job is to break camp?
That's what they're doing.
Okay.
And there wasn't
Alright.
there wasn't much of my camp to break.
Yeah, you were.
So,
You're just sitting on a little mat. I mean, really,
well, more like
just on the
lean,
ground.
perched against a tree.
That's true. You are a wood elf, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, all right. So you're sitting there in the water, and not sitting there in the water. You're walking through the water. You're all just like
He's sitting in the water.
he's sitting in the water.
I can just
And
picture a small
You
little
see
gnome
him.
just-
You see him pulling at this like longboat that's kind of like out in the water more than it was, and so he's pulling at it, pulling it back in. He's actually a fairly strong guy. I mean, think of like, I mean, this guy's got like 15-inch biceps, and he's not like huge, but he's pretty strong. I mean, he seems like a fighter of some sort, and he's pulling this boat in almost by himself. If any of you go to jump in, it's
Yeah.
I don't know if it's probably safe
I
I'll
wouldn't.
go
for you.
assist.
I wouldn't imagine.
No.
I'll
Okay.
go assist.
All right, so roll a strength
I'm
check
going to be watching
with advantage since you're actually helping.
perimeter.
Oh, good. Good thing I had advantage there. My first one was better. It was a 22 total.
Okay. Anyway, so you help him, no problem, and he turns around. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. What is this rain? Just won't stop.
It's just wet.
And
It's
what was
wet.
your name again, sir?
Key.
Actually, I don't know. He was asking, but I started to check. It was really weird. It's I'm like getting into
Show me a
character.
Wait. How long have we been with them?
Yeah,
About a month.
that's
Yep,
kind of
there you
that's your leader.
There you go.
So he's a.
But
What's your
wait.
name again, sir?
Key.
Ah,
Answer the
yes.
question. How long have we been?
Almost a month. like 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
Anyway, and he says, all right, well, thank you, Key. I appreciate it.
It is my job, sir.
You're the bowman. You're the bowman. You shoot things. You hunt. Speaking of, where's that boar?
I did not hunt a boar.
He grunts, and you start to pull the boat on, and actually you secure it a lot more like against the tree. And you know the river's rising, so you're tying like knots all around, like keeping it not just vertical with it, but actually perpendicular. Math parallel. Yeah, and you're tying it to both trees. There's 2 trees, and you're tying it to them. So it's very secure now.
How far away is this boat from camp?
About 3 minutes.
3 minutes walk?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so...
Did we camp more like inland? Oh, on an island.
It's on an island.
An island
It's
of
large.
willow
You don't know how
trees.
large it is. You just can see it start to go like this. But it's clearly an island based off of the shape. You've seen enough of these to know that it's going to go around this large mass and then meet again. It's not going to separate because it would be much larger at this point. And he starts to come back with Key at this point. He says, by Jove, this storm. Damn, the gods seek to drown us. Oh, and he's marching back towards the camp. He's not even like... He's kind of in his own, like, I've got to keep on going, you know? And he starts going back to the camp. And you see him go, Titus, bailiff, let's go! And so they start walking just inland. He's looking for a dry place to sleep.
Nels is?
Often he does. If he can't find it in the first camp, he always looks for a second camp. This has only happened, I think, one other time, where he's not been satisfied with the camp, but...
Are there any like hills or anything like that?
It does seem to slope upward. You can kind of see it sloping upward. Through this mass of willow trees, you can still see it sloping. But the light of the moon coming up through it is very strange. It just kind of flows through. Just imagine hanging branches and just like the moonlight kind of like rays shining through different parts. Even though it's raining.
Is it all willows? Or
It's all willows.
Old man Willow.
That's very strange.
Do you mention this to anyone? I mean...
No, but I would like to maybe do like a nature check.
Yeah, do
maybe
so.
because, I mean, what I know personally, you don't see willow trees like that.
No, that's not common.
So, that's a 9. 9.
I mean, it could happen.
Plus 3, 12.
So you feel like it is unusual, but with your knowledge on it, it just kind of feels like it can happen, maybe. But with this nature check, you do notice that the ground itself and the land around it seems off, darker, skewed. Almost like the trees themselves have a little bit of a different type of crook to it than normal. Just something. You can't quite tell, though. And as you're walking
Welcome
through the
to
trees...
David's campaign, where the first thing is a nightmare.
The first thing. All right. So, all right.
Yeah, the first thing we do.
So as you're walking kind of up a hill, and you do see as you're walking, it is more up a hill, the wind gusts kind of smack violently against the branches. It's starting to get a little bit more of a storm. So it's good that you are seeking more of a shelter, but it kind of flops against your clothing. Have you ever been near a willow when it's windy? It starts like whipping against your skin as you're passing. It's almost like it's pulling at you because it's wet, and it's just this uncomfortable tentacle-like grasping feeling, and it's just like touching you. You just can't stop it. The sting of the errant branch caught in the draft livens you. It's like it kind of feels like whips driving you on. So I need what's the walking order?
I'm gonna be last.
I need you to roll perception.
Okay. I'm gonna keep an eye on the little guy.
Yeah, I was gonna make him walk in front of us between them just so we can't lose.
He needs like a theme
Well,
song.
like I know by this point that you can handle yourself, but you're little, so I just want to make sure you don't drown or fall in a hole. So.
Bruce, it could happen. All right.
Have you guys ever had one of those child leashes where it's like a backpack with a
Yeah,
leash?
yeah, we have that with Henry at Disneyland, and it's the best thing
There
ever.
you go.
We used to laugh and make fun of people who had those. And
Okay,
then,
I need
it
the
was
next
best
one in
thing.
line to roll perception.
Mine was 6.
Okay.
I'm
Mine is
distracted by
also a 6.
Alston.
Me too. I am like.
I think I'm
intent.
actually more distracted by Nels. I'm like, what the heck is he doing?
So you
What an
feel a little
idiot.
bit off, but nothing seems to quite
We're gonna die.
catch your eye. But it's almost as if when the willows
What's my
shift
passive
and they kind of like
perception?
twist around each other, they almost form like dancers in the darkness around you. It's very interesting, like sort of display. What did you say?
I don't have a passive perception.
I was just gonna look that up.
Passive perception. I believe it was.
You probably add your
It's like-
wisdom modifier to a 10.
Yeah.
I will check.
I
Right.
think
I'm
so.
pretty sure it
Something
is.
like
It's
that.
going to be high for her. Compares your wisdom score, which is 10 plus the creature's. Oh, so 10 plus the creature's wisdom modifier. So 10 plus 3, I think yours was. Yeah. So 13 is your passive perception. So with your passive perception, you probably have the highest. What's yours?
12.
12. Okay, you both kind of notice more than sight, sound. It's almost as if you hear a big metal bowl being rubbed slowly with something damp. Just
Give
that
it-
kind of metallic,
Like a sound
like a
bath.
hum, kind of. It's very peculiar. It's off-putting a little bit, but it almost could be just the wind.
Pudding.
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 Pudding. Oh, a snack pack.
No, you'll definitely be
you,
an
Harley.
NPC, Bruce. Don't worry. We'll get you someone really important.
The jello one.
I
that
have just
that's
the person.
Swirl. I craved those so much when I was pregnant with Mina. I just like that's all I wanted, and milk.
Yeah, Jessica was all milk too.
And I don't drink a lot of milk, but that's like all I wanted was milk.
Okay, and I need you to roll a perception as well.
Okay.
As you're walking. This is all continuing. This isn't all at once, by the way. You're still charging up this hill.
7, but my passive's 12.
Okay. So with that, so 12 with the passive. Okay. You feel kind of a sting, like on your arm. You feel like like a willow reed whipped you, but out of the corner of your eye, you could have sworn someone just ran at you and lashed at you and went into the darkness.
Okay.
You didn't take any damage. It wasn't like threatening, but it's kind of
That's what I
like
imagine.
think of it this way.
It's like little like
It's when you're
needles.
subjective,
Fang.
you're like
Like
in your
needles.
mind,
Fang.
it
Yeah.
That's how we
becomes
start campaigns.
objective. Like it's a real thing because your mind thinks it could be real, kind of situation. But you feel like you saw something, but
I stop walking and I address the others and I say, something lurks in the shadows.
Do you have a really like
I know. That's what
I would
like
love it
low
so much.
voice, or do you have a high squeaky voice?
Nope.
It's a
No,
low
yes,
voice.
yes.
Just like I just did.
I love it. I love it,
I love it.
so much.
So Bailiff, he turns around. He's a little bit more jolty than everyone else. He's always been nervous of this whole trip.
Jolty.
Yeah, it's the best way I can describe
Jittery?
it. No, jolty. It's not jittery. It's like. Anyway, so he turns and he's just like, "What was it, sir?"
Something.
And you just see him look back at everybody, and are you all just standing there, like stopped walking, or are you continuing? Because he stopped.
I'm gonna pull out one of my whips, just one.
Just one whip.
And,
Which one?
Dragon tether.
Okay.
You gotta remind me what they look like, because it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah, so you pull out a whip. Okay, so you don't see anything out there, but if you are going to investigate or
Which I would.
look,
Yes.
then I would
Yes.
roll investigation.
That's what I was gonna say next, but I was waiting for you to pull up what my whips look like. But I guess you're not doing that.
21.
I am. 21.
Yeah.
Haha! 19. That's pretty good though.
That's pretty good.
Are we all rolling, or is it just her?
Whoever's investigating.
What did you do?
Oblivious.
Oh,
Natural
no.
Oblivious.
Which one's which?
Dragon tether.
Okay.
All right.
That one is
And that's bone whip.
bone snare. Okay.
Okay. So
Bone snare is ready.
as you start to look out into the darkness, even with your elf eyes and your amazing dark vision, nothing seems to catch your eye. It's almost like these sheer, just like abrupt movements. You're just captivated by them. They're too confusing for you. And you rolled
21.
21, and you
19.
19. Okay, so both of you, as you're looking into the darkness, you 100% see a figure, humanoid, standing there, and then it's gone. With it's almost like the Willows presented a thing and then took it away.
Can we still see the remainder of the
Party?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all with you.
Nels
Nels is in front, but he's kind of like holding his rapier, just like looking around, just like I'm brave, you know. But he looks clearly a little nervous at what you guys are talking about. But you two see it.
Okay. I say the little one speaks the truth. There is something out there. Sorry.
At this point, I would have drawn my bow, my marauder bow.
Okay. All right. So you're kind of. Are you readying an action, or are you just kind of?
I'm just prepared. I have
Gotcha.
one hand on my quiver,
Okay.
and the other hand on.
And
like
you wear
on
the
my bow.
quiver on your
On my side.
on your side. Cool.
I also address the party and I say, something lives and lurks here. We've trespassed onto someone's home.
Love it. And thank you all for being very role playing. It's very nice. So, how would you feel in this situation? How would your character feel with this wind, incessant wind, the heavy rain? Imagine it. Like, if you've been in this situation where you're just wet and it's windy and it's almost like you're just kind of nervous about the wind itself, fearing to. Just kind of imagine that, if you will, because that's how I was when it was raining when I wrote this, like hard, and so it was just like I was imagining being stuck in this situation. So
I think I'd be feeling a little nostalgic,
yeah,
just because I'm used to this.
okay.
Maybe not with I'm used to this.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
All of it seems familiar to me, so I feel confident, curious, and maybe a little bugged. Just
Okay.
kind of like I was hoping for like a peaceful rest,
Last couple days,
but then
Yeah.
at the same time I'm like excited. And
It's been a
so-
mostly boring trip.
So
You've seen some terrible things along the way, like monsters that shouldn't be here, like big ones moving slowly through the trees, but you're just traveling along and he's just sketching as you're going, just kind of being quiet. But nothing's bothered you this trip,
so I feel
other
like a
than the one
little-
thing that killed your friend.
Like I feel like a little like electricity because I'm excited that there's something.
that adrenaline
Yeah.
push. Yeah.
This count with all the rain and the willow limbs and everything like that. Does this count as like a lightly obscured something, like with the combination of the rain and everything like that?
You yourself,
Yeah.
I would say so. If you weren't being, like, if this thing is a thing and it's watching you, it knows you're there. But you yourself feel confident that if you needed to hide really quickly, you probably could. Maybe.
Well, and
if,
that's even something with my race itself.
even when you are only lightly obscured. Yeah, I think that would allow it. Yes. But as you're standing there, it has not reappeared. The hairs on your neck, even though they're wet, has that like feel of like something brushing against it, like that cold, like nerves of something watching you. But you're all standing there for a few minutes and nothing happens. So Nels just said, he looks back at you two, and he's like, "Well, I didn't see it. Come on, we're not gonna find it standing in the rain. If it's gonna attack us, it's gonna attack us. But we need to get up somewhere dry." And so he starts keeping you back up. Do you guys follow him?
Yeah.
Well, yes, because he is our job.
Okay, good point.
Now is the where my mind goes is the boat large enough that if the water were to go back down and it were to be stranded, could we lift it down to the water, or is it
The
too
boat?
large?
Where it is, where you secured it, if the water goes back down, it'll be easy to get to. If it goes up, it's just gonna kind of
Rise up with.
rise up with the tree and just kind of stick
Okay.
to the tree. The
That's
trees are huge.
Yeah,
I mean, they're like gnarled and
I'm
they go into
more
the
worried
ground.
if it goes back down and it gets stuck on a sand and rock. If you could lift it,
It may take some work, but
Okay,
you can
but you
get
could.
it down.
Okay,
It's not.
that's my
It's
lead.
not an end
Okay.
game for it. This
Okay.
you've had things like this happen
Okay,
before.
then my concern
Do they have
is
umbrellas? Did you bring umbrellas? Anyone?
I did not.
Oh.
I mean, we could
All
fashion
right.
one by spinning a rope
As
really
you trudge
fast.
up the hill, you have two options lie before you. you see that it's come up to a cliffside that's kind of sloping up this way, and you see a path that kind of goes down a little bit, but there's like a little cave. Not like a deep cave. You can actually see how it kind of, like the sand. There's no trees here. It's just this nice little sandy area, and there's like a little cove where you were confident you could probably find a safe place to sleep for the night. At least you have your backs covered, and you could maybe drape the tents over. It looks nice with your perceptions and inspections. Or you can go up and you see that there's clearly a stone wall, which could mean some kind of civilization.
Where's the rest of the, like, Nels? Where is he leading at this point?
He's stopped at this point, and this is not his expertise. He's just kind of turns around and he's just kind of like pretending he's thinking, looking up in the distance. But you know him; he's not going to make this decision.
Is it night?
It is night.
Like middle of the night?
It's not middle of the night. It's probably around 12 or 1 in the morning.
That's middle of the night.
No, that's midnight.
Not for me.
For the rest of the
Yeah.
humanity.
Okay, it's in the middle of the night. People who sleep.
I can't remember the last time I was up past midnight.
Yeah.
David is like
I know.
normally.
Mary popping oranges.
So
Mary popping origins, and I said oranges.
I heard
and everyone's
oranges.
like, oranges?
I would love some fresh squeezed orange juice right now. I'm gonna take a drink.
I
Anyway,
was like, I have some if you really want some.
by the way, we've been
not
live the
fresh.
whole time and it hasn't dropped. We have new internet since then,
Jinx.
so I
Don't
know.
jinx it.
this is wood. No, I'm just kidding.
It is.
I know.
It's good.
It's just not very good wood.
What are you talking about? This table.
I'll show you.
It's been through a lot.
Okay, back on
Okay,
task.
Back on task. I'll say, if you want to go explore down underneath, I can go up top and see what's over. Is it a tall wall?
Yes, do that. The wall doesn't. I mean, at this distance, it looks like it's a little foot wall, like a little, like goes up to your leg or up to him as chest.
Okay. Can I? Is it still light obscuring with rain and stuff, where I could?
At this
hide
point,
at that
from
point?
that point forward, there's just maybe one willow above.
Well, but with like
but
a rain and
mostly-
things like that. Like is.
It's
No.
not a good bet.
You may have a chance. I'll have to.
I'll just
something for him.
I'll
at that
I'll
point.
just stealth up
That works.
to help. 23.
Okay, so you easily just like practically disappear into the darkness as you pull your hood up over and just kind of slink up the hill. Parts of you kind of glimpse him. Oh, there he is. But then most of the time you're like, where is he? You know, he's like a sniper, you know, like in the darkness. You are an archer, so kind of that makes sense. So you get to the top and you see out before you, passive perception, that is a very safe place to sleep. It comes in at like an angle. It kind of comes in a little bit. Natural like wind has pushed this to be, you know, just like this nice little cove. It doesn't look lived in. You can see down below. There's no like visible footprints. You're pretty high above it,
Yeah.
but with your eyes you can see that there's nothing that's been living there. To your right and kind of behind you, there is a stone wall, and you can see the top of what looks like a dilapidated house, almost like a plantation-looking house, but small.
Okay. Can I take a few minutes here, perhaps 10 minutes, and take 10 to really see if I spot anyone that would be looking or seeing, or I'll just.
I would say in this situation, since you have a demanding party that's
Yeah.
waiting for some kind of comfort, I don't think they would allow you 10 minutes, as
Okay.
that does take
I'll
some
roll.
time.
I'll roll.
But yeah, I would say roll for this one.
6.
No, you don't see anything. In fact, you feel very confident that you're totally safe, either up or down.
Okay. I'll
Totally safe.
I'll go
You
back
feel
down.
Very confident.
With a low roll, he's very
I'm
confident.
very confident. I'll go back
He's
down.
confident in his abilities. How old are you?
Old enough.
Okay. I mean, he's elf, so who knows?
I'm gonna go.
Old enough. To be determined.
He doesn't even know.
No, I think he does.
TB.
I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go back down into the camp, and say this is a wonderful place to rest for the evening.
Up or down?
Right here, in this exact spot in the lower cove. We just may want to inspect, make sure everything is okay. There's no traps or hidden doors, but other than that, I think we should be okay.
Okay. So Nels looks at you and says, "Well done, sir. Let's get going. Lead the way."
And I'll walk forward.
You see him very nervous. He's been rolling too. He seems very off. And he normally is like the guy, like I'm courage incarnate. I'm stupid. I go forward even when it's dangerous type guy. You see him a little nervous.
Can I do like an insight check on him?
Yeah, babe. I'm being fair. I'd call you all babe too.
She's got it.
18.
He definitely, with that, you see his eyebrows, the way they're furrowed. You've seen this once before, and that was when your friend got dragged off. I mean, he's not your friend. He's a guy that you worked with. But
And did he seem this way before it happened? Like he knew?
not like he knew, but he's kind of got this like sixth sense about him that he like, it's almost like danger's coming, and he can like, oh, it's coming. He's like, but in
like
this
he has a danger
kind
sense?
of, but like you sense that he knows something, but he's not telling you. With an 18.
Okay, then I'm going to, while we're making camp, I'm going to go up to him and say, you seem to...
He's standing there with his foot on a rock, just like overlooking the out there. By the way, what you see before you, by the way, just so you know, there's willows kind of down beneath you. You see the river rushing down beneath, and
So is it
looks
like
intense.
a ledge type thing with like
It's
like
kind of a sand
outcropping
bank.
type?
It's kind of like a sand bank that's kind of like maybe part of this is like crumbled with time with the air and the wind blowing against it so heavily. It's kind of made this little sand dune, like comfortable area, and it kind of slopes down and then it gets gnarled and jagged again with all the trees all kind of fighting for ground.
And are we like covered?
You are.
overhead?
It's so if you're back into this area, it's about like 6 feet in. So you could easily lay several mats down and be comfortable in there.
Alright.
And what they're doing right now, they're setting poles up and they're putting canvas like against it, so the wind's going to be pushing against it. You're kind of like enclosed into this little area.
Okay, so I say
Per his instructions, you can tell him otherwise because you are the experts on camping. Because he doesn't set up.
Nels doesn't?
No, he never helps set up. It's beneath him. But he's got his little satchel thing with that. So anyway, sorry.
okay, we ready?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I just want
Okay.
to make sure it was all set.
I don't
One
even
more
know
thing.
now. I don't even know. I can't remember.
You were
You're going to confront
you were
him.
going to confront him. You're going to ask
I don't
Nels.
remember what I was gonna ask
You're
him.
saying, is something wrong?
He's acting
You're
nervous.
acting nervous.
You seem on edge, and I'm gonna say it quietly because I don't want to because I know he's.
So when you step forward to him and talk to him, he kind of noticeably kind of backs away from you a little bit, and he says, "Yes, it's just strange, this place."
And I bring up that I noticed he was the same way when what's his name?
Down,
What?
down.
That when Delm was taken, as if he can.
I made a mistake coming to this island.
Have you been to
Then
this island?
should we?
Oh, I'm not in this.
No.
Then
Well,
That's
he says we could have been anywhere. We could have made camp earlier. I just chose this island.
And how did you know that this island was?
I wanted to get further, and I just felt like perhaps we should have camped sooner. And he looks back at everyone and says, "I'm sorry that we're in this predicament. There was a place that was better, but we're going to make do with what we have. If someone could cook something, I am famished."
Okay, I'm gonna grab his arm. Not like threatening, but like
You do have
kind of
like
forcefully a little bit and say, why shouldn't we be here? What's the mistake?
I want you to roll either intimidation or persuasion. It kind of seems like you're trying to intimidate.
Intimisuasion.
Intimidation.
I will let you pick on how you want to do it.
Intimidation.
Okay.
Yeah. 9.
You still beat him.
Okay.
So he rolled disadvantage though, because he doesn't feel safe around you.
I intimidate him.
Yes, you do. So when you do that, well, you also put your big like dragon-like hand on him. You know,
I'm
and he's
assuming she's bigger than he is.
Yes.
Like taller.
about half a foot.
Uh-huh.
He's not very tall.
Oh, I'm only 6 foot.
Yeah, he's 5'5".
Okay.
So he's standing there and he just looks up at you and says, "Well, I mean, it's an island full of willows. It's strange. I just wanted to map it out. It was kind of selfish. We should have done it in the daylight.
That is obvious.
It can't be helped now, but we're in a safe place." He turns around. "We all must keep our cool here."
This is the first time I'm hearing them speaking during this conversation.
Kind of. He's kind of turned towards you, trying to bring everyone else into the conversation, you know, because he's not wanting to have this private conversation.
Okay, so I say a little louder. But you brought us further in. Why?
This
If
is strictly
you-
for safety.
If you knew that we shouldn't be here. If
I didn't
you
know I
felt
shouldn't
that
be
way.
here. We've made camp. There's no sense of going off in the darkness in our boat.
I just like kind of let him go and walk away, kind of like
You
this-
can tell he
it's just-
genuinely was not like trying to, with that high roll, he's not trying to like trap us here.
It's not
It
a
was-
high roll.
Well, I mean, with your other high roll.
Oh,
Is that
okay.
you can tell that he's not trying to trap you here or anything. He doesn't know about it. He was just literally trying to map it out and think, let's just go a little bit further.
I don't think he was trying to trap us. I just want to know if he knows something that he's not telling. Like
No,
maybe
other
he's
than
treasure
he-
hunting or something.
he does sense something. But I'm glad you specified. No, he's not, based off of what you can tell. Okay.
I kind of miss my old sheet, which is my new sheet.
Which is your new sheet. All right. So the camp has
I
been
don't
set
know what
up.
anything is in this.
Everyone's kind of, you feel that weariness from the tired, but now you're actually in a dry spot. It's not necessarily warm unless you make a fire, but you're all fairly cold.
With how high we are, it may not be wise to really stand out with
So
the fire.
Bailiff is just standing there. He's about to, like, he's setting up a little patch of dried leaves, and he just looks over at you, and he's just like, he's got this nervous look in his eye, and he's like,
That is not wise.
"Cold food again," he whispers to himself. And first watch.
Would you want to finish your first watch?
Nope.
Technically, her first watch ended,
Yeah.
so you're
I'll
staying up.
take
Okay.
I'll take watch.
I will need you to roll a d20.
5.
Okay. Even though you are an elf and do not need to sleep, part of you feels, with the wind and the kind of tapping of the rain onto the canvas, not much can hit it, but it's you just that gentle tapping. Everyone is soundly asleep. There's no fire, but you're just sitting there in the darkness when you kind of drift off, not to sleep, but just like in this meditative state of sleep that an elf does. And as your eyes kind of dim and kind of dip for a little bit, you hear the wind start picking up a little bit, and it's kind of lulling you to even more of a deeper sleep. Suddenly, you hear thud, 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 thud. Big, heavy thuds, some little thuds hitting the canvas. Like almost like someone tapping, but very erratically. There's no rhythm to it. And you startle awake.
Was that a magical effect? I have to ask.
A magical effect?
Yeah, for sleep.
No.
Okay.
That
just
was you.
lulling me into.
That was you rolling a very, very low number on
Okay.
your watch.
Perfect. That's fine.
That's
fine.
how I do
understand
watches.
that. Okay. I only say that because
Yeah.
just making sure.
No, I actually remember your sheet.
So good. You remember it?
He remembers everything.
Except nothing.
What's my charisma modifier?
You don't have one. You are worthless. Just kidding. All right. So what do you do? Now, would anyone else wake up to this, or are you too tired to wake up, do you think? To the
I don't
thudding?
know. You tell us.
I'm just saying, how asleep do you think role-playing your character
Oh,
would
she
be?
wouldn't be that asleep
Okay.
because.
So you
if
wake
she
up
was
and
already
kind of see him
seen-
jump
yeah.
up.
It wouldn't be. So what you're saying is it wouldn't be
Yeah.
a
It's not
restful night.
So no.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you wake up. Anyone else? Nels is out, and the other two are out. It's been a long day of
Alston
work.
would have just waited for Nels to look like he was sleeping, and then he would have been fine. So.
Okay. All right. So you three.
Yeah.
Okay. So you three are awake, and you heard that thudding, and then it stopped. But it was like a good solid minute of thuds
On the canvas.
on the canvas.
Do I
I'll
have
go
dark
over and
vision?
peek out past the curtain to see if it sounded like hail or something
Right.
big.
It is not hail, but you see an array of dead birds. Crows, canaries, an owl. They were all pelting the canvas and they're dead. No blood on them, just dead.
There's a horde of dead birds.
I'm going
I've never
to.
seen this before.
I'm going to go out and I'm going to look at that since I'm
Yeah,
kind of more animal
inclined.
inclined.
Okay, so you take kind of a step out of the
Yeah.
out of the canvas, and you do see the same thing. Just dead animals. You've never seen them.
Can I see?
Looks
if,
like they died on impact. Like they just flew into the
Do they
canvas.
look crushed? Do they look
Like their necks are broken, some are twitching.
Okay.
Like they ran into it hard.
And they all came from the same direction.
It seemed they just came flying in just at it.
Can I do like some kind of perception to see? Like,
I would say do a
there's-
nature check and see if
okay.
if you've ever heard of this or anything.
or
but
see
you
if,
can roll
like,
what you
if
want.
they're running from like a predator, what something that's like
Flock
common of
movements,
them all
right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So nature.
Yeah.
Yes. 21.
You would think a predator, but the weird thing is that there's such a variety. So
Okay.
something
And some of
spooked
these-
so many in different
Are
areas.
some of the birds predators? Like of these smaller birds?
Mhm.
Like
The owl, particularly.
okay.
But they all just came slamming into the canvas. And it's not like they come in there to sleep. You don't see any, like, feces of these things. It's just strange. And there's nothing that makes sense about it.
Okay.
Other than they just must have lost their minds collectively and charged at your...
I don't know any of these spells, so I can't let me look at stuff.
No, you're fine.
Putting two and two together, I don't know if I would guess
Already
that
have
it's
that.
these birds that created this natural cove.
Like inspecting the cove itself.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to roll
I want to check for
investigation.
relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
21.
You don't notice anything that would point out that there's anything strange about this cove, like it has any falseness to it, or that it used to be anything else. But what you do see was something that you hadn't noticed before. As you start to kind of like explore the sides of this, you actually find the skull of what looks like a dwarf. Long decayed. Not like eons, but at least 7 to 8 years.
I find its skull, but I don't. The rest of it's not there.
Oh, the rest of it's there.
As it wearing armor.
It looks like it's wearing kind of ragged clothes, but it does have a tool belt that's kind of destroyed and old and corroded.
Mhm.
But it looks like it was some kind of worker,
Okay.
perhaps a mason, based off of his tools.
Okay.
So as you're digging, are you letting anyone else know? Or you're just kind of
No.
okay.
No.
It's just like no body.
Not yet, anyways.
So they're all inspecting the birds, and you're like, what? Like under your mat, there's just like something was a bit rocky. Oh, it's a body.
Yeah, not. I wouldn't say anything yet.
But also based off your investigation as well, I'm going to say that you notice that there are no visible markings of blunt force trauma, like on the skull or on the bones. It looks like an intact skeleton.
Are any of the birds? Is there any bird that's alive? Or are they all dead?
There is, like, the owl is twitching. It looks like it's on the stages of death.
Okay. So it's like it's dead.
It's on its way out.
Okay, so I will I will end its misery.
Okay. So you plunge your knife into it, or do you break its neck, or what do you do? We're eating now.
I'm trying to decide if speaking with the animal, if it's going to give me anything. So I guess I'll try. Or do you think is it really dead?
Based off of your ability to speak to animals, this one looks like it wouldn't be much help.
Okay. All right.
To be
So,
honest,
I'll
I
just-
don't know if you would get much out of
I'll
it
just-
based off of its trauma.
Whatever way is quickest.
Okay, so you just except I'm just kidding because it's an owl. Anyway, no, you bonk it on the head and it's done.
It's
Down
that
came
phrase.
the good fairy.
Bonk.
I just like it's that adjective, the bonk, right? Or the verb.
You
the
crush
bonk.
its skull with the
Think
hilt
like
of
a
your dagger.
cartoon,
There.
Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Okay. All right. So
You always have that song in your head.
What
Isn't
are you all
that one that you
thinking?
have?
It's a regularly reoccurring.
I can't remember if that was you or if that was David.
by the way, if you remember me as a DM, I do time-based things, so time can be important, and also not important at all. I'm just letting you know.
You said this mending
I
was in
will-
that, but it's not. Mending is not in
I
here.
did not, did I?
Yeah. You were
Is,
wrong.
is there anything
No, player's handbook.
magical?
Yeah,
P-
where is
PHP.
it? Oh, I'm in the wrong one.
Would I sense
I'm
any
in the-
magic?
Do you sense magic?
Mm-hmm.
Roll Arcana.
12.
As you kind of connect with what you understand of magic, it's almost like the concentration alone is a little bit difficult. Are you trying to sense the body itself or just in the area?
No, not the body. Just trying to place a connection between the birds and the body and the way this area is carved
Sure.
out.
It doesn't seem magic based, but the birds itself, you sense it wasn't just. You don't believe it was magic, but based off your roll, you think that it was some kind of startling that might have caused it, but you don't know.
Okay.
Magic or non-magic, you're unfamiliar with that particular situation. You've never heard of no spell that sends birds careening to their death into a tent.
I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna walk up on top again for a really good vantage point up above.
Okay, it takes you a few minutes, but
Yeah, but I'm still in view of the rest of the camp, right?
Sure.
And then
Are you stealthing or are you just walking?
I'm gonna stealth.
That wasn't like a hint.
No.
Because you were stealthing before. I was
Yeah.
just wondering if you're...
It's gonna be an 18.
Okay. So, as you're walking up there, I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw.
11.
Out of the blue, a branch just flies past your head. It does nick you, so I need you to roll a d4 and then half of it.
Those are the hardest ones to pick up. 2.
So 1. So you take 1 point of damage. So it just comes out of nowhere, and you dodge most of it, but just part of like a shard of it just like scratches along your cheek, and you just look around and as if someone threw it at you. But it looks pretty natural because a gust of wind just went by. But you make your way up there and you start to look around, kind of like holding your cheek because it smarts. It's a bit painful. But you start looking around and you don't see anything in particular at the moment. But you're kind of scouting, so I'll let you take your 10 since they're all kind of discussing.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit and kind of take a few minutes and kind of observe, like do a full peripheral. of
You're
what's-
up?
Yeah,
Back
just
by
up
the
on
wall?
He climbed up there.
Yeah.
By that little wall that was up there again? Because didn't you go up there before? No. Yes.
Yeah, because there's a cliff
Alright.
side that's above you, and there's like a little stone wall that hits the cliff side and goes along, and it kind of makes some kind of like half square around this little settlement, I guess.
Okay, well, I'm going to...
Homestead. Settlement is multiple.
That's what I saw. They didn't
Yeah.
see the homestead though.
No.
Yeah.
Actually, you never mentioned it.
I never did.
Good, because I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, so, do I notice what he's doing?
I imagine just naturally you would. If you walked back in the tent at all, it's kind of
Okay.
hard to not notice a gnome digging at bones.
I actually would. I have
Just so
I have a
cute.
shovel. I would be digging.
Okay, so you were
around
full
my
on
body.
digging with your little shovel. That's so cute.
What do you have
Sorry.
there?
I'm not going to do this the whole time.
We all probably will.
You picked a gnome. We can't help it. It happened a little bit, but I actually really love it. I've never played with a gnome.
Yeah.
All right.
Probably
What-
for a good reason.
What did you find that you were so determined to uncover?
I'm still looking.
Still looking.
And
Okay.
and Nels was looking out of the tent because he actually got up at this point because there's been quite a bit of commotion and people talking. He was looking outside the tent, but he comes back in. The other two are still sleeping, just out. They do most of the rowing, so I mean they're exhausted. But he looks back in the tent and he just goes wide-eyed, and he just looks around. Get that out of this tent. He's just demanding you to move it.
You believe this is the only one?
And he starts looking around. He starts poking the ground with this. He's like, I don't know. Perhaps this wasn't a good place to sleep. And he's like, where did
You're-
Key go?
Just getting that feeling now.
Where's Key? He seems very nervous.
No one really saw me leave.
Yeah.
He's an adult. He
That-
can do what he pleases.
Well, we assume.
Not in my party, he can't. He has to report to me before he does anything.
I think you're kind of past giving orders right now in this situation.
He looks at you and he's just like, I will support no mutiny. My word is law, and that is the way it is supposed to be on this trip, and you knew that when you signed up. You report to me, or you get docked pay, or are expelled from this entire party.
I respond that the punishment of a liar is that he's never believed, even when he's being truthful.
And he just looks at you with narrowed eyes.
I kind of want to give like,
And he says, indeed. I'll let it slide this time. But someone go find him. If he's out there and something's happened to him, we need to know.
but we didn't go after. What's his name? I didn't write his name. down.
Delm.
Delm.
Oh.
That's because there was a blood trail, and it was very clearly that he had been murdered in his sleep and dragged off by some beast. It doesn't matter where we need to find him.
I point to the body and I said, would you rather me further investigate this, or would you rather have me go chase a shadow in the night?
Perhaps stay here. Either way, I don't like it.
I'm going to leave, but I take out both my whips,
Okay.
and I'm
Love that it's
going to
just
see
dual
if I can
whips.
find
Oh
where Key
my.
went.
What?
Keep it in check, guys. Come on.
I was making a George
my
Takei
dice?
reference.
Can I do a perception check or investigation or whatever I'm supposed to look? I'm looking for him to see where he went. But I also, if this is allowed, I want to see if I can determine where, like, okay, so I know where direction the birds came from, so I want to see if I can see, like, maybe I have to do two checks for this. I want to look for, like, tracks of, like, a predator.
Okay. Go ahead.
That would scare that amount of.
I would say
different types of
survival check, because
Okay.
that's more track based.
Okay. Gonna roll somewhere where it's not gonna be loud, but where it's not gonna roll off. Okay. 15.
Okay. So you start to kind of scan down beneath in this kind of willow area beneath you, and you don't see anything in particular near the tent at all where you are at, just the footprints of everyone that's been here. But you do notice little funnels in the sand. Strange funnel shapes, like they should be footprints or the wind has created them. Just things that go in deep. And then like something...
Okay, so funnels from something pulled out or something going in?
Both. As if
How
a
big are the
footprints.
funnels?
They're pretty big. and some are small.
Can I do like a history check or a nature check or something to see if I know if an animal created this? Or
Roll a nature check.
or if like a plant or something I know because like maybe the willows. Does it look like it's like the same? Because are the willows just normal sized or are they big?
Some are large, some are small. There's not like a
The-
consistency between them all. They're old.
Does it look like the branches like?
They can't reach from here.
Okay. Alright.
There would be no willows that would reach this far.
What was I doing?
Nature
Nature?
check.
Nature.
13.
So 13. Well, nature or
Tell
history,
it's a willow
depending.
because the way it is.
Nature's fine.
Okay. All right. Nature's fine. All right. So
Nature's
you don't.
+3,
You have
history's
never heard of a beast that leaves these kind of footprints.
I don't think they're footprints. I don't think they are.
Because that's
Toss
what I thought
it
you were
in.
looking for.
Yeah. I if
But
I
they're
an
strange
animal-
funnel. You think maybe the
Ah.
wind circling the area could have
I'm
made
wondering if they're like tunnels made from like spiders
it?
or
That makes us sleep better.
or
Tunneling spiders underneath us.
well
You never know. There
there's
was a body
There
in there.
are spiders who do
Nightmare.
tunnels.
Spiders.
So that's
Wanna
what
make sure
I
he didn't hear that.
I did.
okay. And so the
And I'll remember that.
the funnels, how are they in relation to our campsite?
All around it.
Yeah.
All around it.
Everywhere.
Like all around it.
All around it. Over your previous footsteps. Even the ones that you made just now.
So does it okay. So then can I if I step, does it is it sand that's underneath this? So the sand goes like that?
Not your footprints. When you start to notice as you're stepping the sand, just kind of testing it, it's not doing it.
Okay, so then I'm gonna move away.
Okay.
Did it do it now?
So you kind of sit there for a few minutes, like waiting, and sure enough, like there's a small little indent, and then it goes away.
And so there's just lots of
Humming begins to increase around you, almost over your head. You can't see anything at all, but you just hear like a very intense, like metal type sound of. It's not metal, but it's like that tone that metal can get when you're like rubbing something against it. Just like unearthly sound.
okay, I'm just gonna calmly go back into the
It
campsite.
makes you very nervous.
But I'm gonna be like,
Yes, like I'm not noticing this. I'm just going back in.
we should leave right now. Wake up, Bailiff and Detus. I yell at them.
So they pop up. One hits his head on the top of the little outlet because he's kind of nestled in to the side, like very nervous.
Sounds nice.
And he,
The funnels that I noticed, sorry, were they up on like
the walls,
Okay.
Nope.
Just on the ground around
just
us.
all
Just
around.
on the ground. Up towards are they up on like how he went up the first time?
You don't know.
Okay. So I start walking out and I actually grab Nels because I don't want him to die because he's our.
I was like, "What are you doing? Why are you ushering me? I can walk myself." And he looks at you. I want you to make a persuasion, because you're trying to convince him to go out of the comfort of a camp.
Okay. 15.
Ooh,
And
he's not having it.
I say we cannot stay here. We have to leave.
So I understand that you can't stay here, but this seems pretty defensible position that we are in.
I want to put his like go like this and like look and show him the funnel and say this is happening all
The
around.
humming gets louder as you make him notice the funnel.
Okay.
So as he looks at it, he also just kind of like looks up, and he doesn't see anything either, and he's just like, okay, what is that?
I don't know. Have you seen it in your
Back to you.
travels?
Back to me. In watching.
Because you are kind of like
I'm
seeing
sitting-
them come out of the.
yeah, I'm
Because this is
sitting
about
up at
10
the-
minutes. I feel like
Yeah.
it's been that long.
Sitting out, watching, seeing what's going on, seeing her walk around, Nell's in, out, yelling.
You see, you're like
ranting.
looking at the ground and everything, but you're also looking around you.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
but I think your focus is probably looking down. at them.
Probably closer to them for what would have caused that,
Sure.
like the birds. I mean, I'm interested in if there's anything over in the settlement behind on the other side of the hill, but not intently.
Okay.
It would have been mostly focused on that.
Because
area
you
around.
spent that time to notice, there is a faint glow within there in that home, but it doesn't look like any like fire. It's just some kind of glow inside there, like fiery glow. Like it's got like a warm,
like a torch,
like
not
a-
a fire.
right, like a kind of an orange glow to it, but nothing that's like sinister looking. Just
Okay.
simple.
I'll make my way back down the hill.
Okay, so you make your way back down the hill, and you see them discussing, and you see her like pushing his head down and looking at something when you walk up.
What are you looking at? What
I
is
point
this?
at the funnels and say, "Do you know what these are? Have you ever seen anything?" It happens when we step.
The humming is almost deafening at this point when you tell him to look at it.
Can I hear it as well?
Oh yeah. In fact, you kind of have to speak up to talk to each other.
Can I roll a survival to see if I recognize this?
If we all look up, does it stop?
Nearly good, but no.
So you don't have any clue of what it is or where the direction is that it's coming from. It feels almost like it's in the air around you.
Can feel it calling in the air tonight.
I
He made me sit
listen
in the
to
car.
that whole song just
Say,
for that
wait,
one
wait,
part.
wait, it's
like,
gonna happen.
It's coming. I
No,
forgot that
no.
it was like near the end of the song, and I was like, wait, the cool part's coming up. Wait, there, and I was wrong several times, and then I was right.
So
Yeah, waiting outside a Taco Bell so that I could eat, and I was like newly pregnant, and we
Well, now
had
that
been
just makes
driving
it
for a
sound so
few
much
hours.
But you remember the song, not the taco.
pregnancy Taco Bell is like you gotta.
Mark would
take
know
that.
it's the best.
It is. Well, no, I make my pregnant wife go get me Taco Bell.
Would get you Taco Bell.
I go get her Taco Bell. So I'm gonna gesture that we go back to the tent so that we can talk because I have things.
But when we're in the tent, do we still hear the humming?
It's a little dimmer because you're inside, but
Okay. Do we notice any funnels in the tent?
Nope.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. We're gonna die. He's gonna kill us right off.
There are
guys.
several holes in the tent now,
Oh
though.
yeah. We're kind of like.
Not super deep, you know. Just
so what you have found in your intensive digging is 3 dwarves, and that's it. There's nothing else. You're very
Okay.
sure.
okay.
But the sand is kind of pushed over their bodies, and they look dead.
And none of them
They
seem
look
to
dead.
have been.
Well, I mean, they look very dead. They're not like skeletons coming to life. They
Right.
they're just flat out, no movement, dead.
None of them seem to have been like
One
killed
of
by
them.
something.
Oh
or-
yes,
Yep.
one of them for sure.
Okay.
Looks like the other 2 might have taken their own lives
Uh-huh.
because there's no like bone injuries, but they could have clearly like. But there
Soft
are
tissue,
knives
yeah.
next to them,
Uh-huh.
so it looks like they killed themselves.
So.
But one of them definitely didn't kill himself, and his mouth is like screaming, like wide open. He saw something before he died, and it
are
doesn't
there,
look
are
like
there
there's any marks.
any marks on them? No.
Not in the bones.
Okay.
There's a. I went up on top of the hill once more to examine the area. There is what appears to be a homestead. When I first saw it, it appeared to be abandoned and not quite as defensible, but upon looking at it again, I do see the faint glow of a fire. I don't know whether someone is
And
there.
Nels is like, yes, up there, go.
Wait, it's up there.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
Did you notice any of those things up there? The
I couldn't.
funnels?
I only saw you looking down. I saw no specific cause.
All right, let's go.
So, without even packing up, everyone just kind of picks up their things and starts to go. Are you going with them?
Yeah.
Are you still inspecting? Okay. All right. I mean, because I'm not forcing anyone to do anything.
No, I think
here,
it's a good idea. We have 3 dead dwarves. One is clearly.
Murderficated.
And then there's dead birds outside and unknown tunnels. We're out of here.
No.
Or maybe we shouldn't. I don't know. He's gonna kill us no matter what.
That's not entirely true. So, as you start
Wasn't
to
this a one-off?
TPK. TPK.
No. So you start to go up that little. You show them where to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty easy. But I mean, the hillside itself is all willows, but this area is clear. I mean, as you start going up.
Does it seem like the willows are moving at all? Or are they staying?
Roll perception.
Is it windy?
It's very windy.
Perception of 22.
Willows are not moving.
Not at all.
In fact, it's very windy, but they're not moving right now.
I mean, like the trunks.
No, the trunks are
Nothing.
not moving, but the willow branches are not moving.
I'm going to point that out. Does anyone see that the wind seems to not be affecting these branches as they were?
I want you to all roll perception besides you, because you just did.
I perceived it.
Oh, dang it.
10.
You see the branches are still moving.
Even lower.
Okay, so you also see that.
What are
You're
you
just
talking
like,
about?
because they clearly are moving and like
Is this-
twisting, and
Is this a charm?
I don't
Okay.
know.
I don't.
Just because I asked because I'm
I know.
doing it. Okay.
But yeah, how would you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
because it's
true.
just a trait you have.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you showed me all your things before.
That's right. That's it.
Why do you
That's
think
my
I
goal.
want to know all your stuff?
I know. So
And
that
your
you know.
fears. I mean,
Okay.
and your stuff.
Interferes.
Oh boy, oh boy. Because I see them not moving, may I disbelieve?
Yeah.
I want to disbelieve what's happening all around. The wind, I don't know.
The wind
What
is
does
very
that
much
mean?
real,
What do you mean?
but it's not. It's almost centralized on you,
The wind is centralized on me,
on your little group.
on the group.
It was windy when you arrived. That's sure, because everything was moving. But at this point, it stopped being windy, but around you, there's clearly movement of air.
I'm telling you, if you look around, there is no movement in these trees. It is windy on us. The air moves around us.
So as you notice, you feel for the first time something notice you. Clearly, something is touching your mind, but it seems alien or foreign to you. Like it's not a rational mind, but something is like almost like reaching to you, like a tentacle is just like wrapped around your brain. You just feel like something, because you are noticing it, is noticing you. You get that distinct feeling with that high of a roll.
Okay.
But is everyone stopped, or are we all continuing up this hill?
I mean, on noticing that, I would have stopped in my footsteps and just looked around confused and tried to assess what was happening and trying to show the others.
I want to look back behind at our footsteps to see if that's created the funnel things it has. And does it seem like it's like making bigger holes now that they're coming closer together?
More that there's lots of them,
But they're not like joining.
but they do look like stride patterns. Like something's following you.
Yes.
Is it? It's not our footsteps, is it?
No.
I'm gonna pull out my bow and I'm going to knock an arrow without actually
Mm-hmm.
drawing it back, but I'm at the ready.
The
and-
humming's getting louder.
I feel as if we are being followed by something rather large.
Let's get up to the top of this hill. I feel
Nels is like, yes, 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 yes. Let's keep going, and he's just like, everyone, keep looking forward, just keep moving.
what do you know?
I don't know anything. I'm
Insight.
just terrified.
Can I roll
Yeah,
an
well, of
insight?
course you can.
Right. That would be a 16.
You genuinely believe he's just terrified.
Oh, he's
like
just
he
terrified.
does not want to be
Okay.
standing in the open next to a cliff with things possible.
Then let's get up to the top of the hill.
I'm taking great pleasure in Nels's reactions.
You just see the gnome back there kind of smiling to himself.
I think it's great.
Yes.
I'm going to cast.
First spell of the campaign.
I'm wondering if this is
Mini
possible.
campaign.
Okay. I'm not very good at spells. We know this because in the other campaign, haven't had opportunity.
We just haven't had chances to. It's not like you're not good at it.
And a druid is very different.
Not very.
Different than I've never played anything like this before.
You're just casting a spell.
And so, anyway, I don't know what the spell is. I'm going to cast Moonbeam behind me,
Okay.
like where I see the stride marks that I'm starting to believe. And that's a 40-foot high cylinder centered on a point within range.
Basically, like calling down like a meteor blast,
Until
like a
the
satellite
spell
to
ends.
the moon.
Okay, so it's concentration up to 1 minute. And says until the spell ends, dim light fills the cylinder. When a creature enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, it is engulfed in ghostly flames that cause searing pain, and it must make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
How many was that, guys? 6? 7? 8?
That was 6, I think, total.
6.
You hear screeching, unearthly pain as things dissipate. But you're not sure how many, you're not sure from where, but you do know that something was indeed following you, and that is now singeing almost out of nowhere. Like this beam of moonlight just came out of nowhere and just incinerated a bunch of them.
Okay. They take 2d10 radiant damage. Did you do that?
I didn't do it because I know what they are and what light can do. Because basically what you found out is that it basically just incinerated them immediately.
Did you expect me to do that?
Maybe.
Dang
All
it.
right. So as she does that, everyone kind of gets like nervous because you've never seen her cast this kind of spell before. But immediately, just you see this light come out of nowhere, and just shadows that were not present are clearly visible for a second before they're just incinerated.
Does it seem like they're gone now, or does it seem like
It's actually getting louder.
Ooh.
There's definitely something following us. We need to get to
Okay.
But that
a less
still follows you,
precarious
by the way.
situation.
Oh.
You can move it with you or around you for a while. I
Yeah,
think it
up
was-
to 1 minute.
So that thing is your protector for 1 minute.
10
Okay.
rounds.
And a 5-foot radius, 40
Yeah,
foot
so
high.
you have a bit to travel. So if you want it to come with you, you
We're
better
running.
get moving.
We're booking.
Run.
I actually am gonna kind of pick up Nels,
Okay, so you're kind of making sure that he makes it no matter what.
kind of like you pick up like a
A toddler?
yeah.
Okay, I want you to roll strength check because you're practically dragging him along with you.
What do I add?
Your strength, just base.
Yes.
Athletics, I guess.
19.
19. Okay. He's a pretty big guy, but you're bigger, and so you just kind of like you're pushing him along when he starts to slow down a little bit. But you're all running, I imagine. You're a little bit slower, so you're kind of trailing
Not
a
much.
bit. Not much though. What is it, 20, 25?
25.
Yeah. So you're not much further
With
behind
short
them.
legs, you learn how to walk and keep up with everybody.
Besides, you watch where they
That's how
go.
toddlers do it.
So you jump in, everyone starts to run. Are you going into the house? Now that you get close, you see
Oh,
that
I
it's
do
just
it.
this.
Oh, now that we're up on top of the hill, if we cross the wall, does it cross the wall with us?
The sound?
Yeah.
It does not.
I'm going to point that out.
But you may also be because that moonbeam thing is following you. There were definitely screeches long as it went, but then it we being watched. So you got a text. All right. So anyway, you notice that it stopped following you. At least the
going.
sound.
The-
But the
sound.
moonbeam is
So we
still
don't hear
following.
that humming anymore.
But you are feeling that concentration of it just starting to flicker out.
Okay.
Are you moving into the house, or are you
Is
staying
the
there?
is the sound still the humming? Is that still with us, or has
It's
that
definitely overhead.
overhead?
It's like this, but it's a lot more dull
think we should go in there, just based off of past experience.
In the
A
house.
hag.
I'm thinking, Shia LaBeouf and all that.
You blew it. It was gonna be Shia LaBeouf in there sharpening an axe. That would have been great. That would have been a great callback. You guys have been like, "What?
Man,
Not again."
this again.
Guess we know how to
Just
kill him now.
decapitated
Are
Shia
there-
LaBeouf.
Are there windows that we can see in?
Yeah, there definitely are.
Do I see anything inside?
Do we see anybody sharpening an axe?
So you can see inside. It's all one level.
Okay.
Oh wait, it's all one level, but clearly there's like this upper area
Yeah.
that's like an attic.
Yeah.
But because it kind of goes up a little bit, there's always an attic in these things.
Yeah.
And anyway, but it's one level. You can see it's sectioned off. The center is what's it called? Help me here. It's made out of stone. You put fire in it. Fireplace. And anyway, it centers off and it goes into like sections. But the area you can see is like a sitting room. Then there's some dusty books and some old leather furniture. It looks like it was a pretty nice place at one point.
Do I still see light inside?
You don't see a light inside based off of where you are, but you're not sure where it came from.
Is it sized for dwarves?
Is it sized for dwarves? No.
It's full regular size.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would have been an interesting thing.
I'm gonna go over and attempt to open the door.
The door opens quite
Okay.
easily.
Okay.
It's not locked.
So I'll reach in. I'll open the door and I'll say, "Hello. Is anyone home? Is anyone in here?"
And you don't hear anything.
Okay. On stepping inside, do I still hear the humming?
It's much less in here.
Much less.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's definitely surrounding the area,
Mm-hmm.
but it looks like it backed off due to some crazy rays of death that came out of nowhere. But you feel generally safer than you were outside.
Did it seem to stop as we crossed the wall?
Not particularly.
No,
It looked
really?
like it wasn't the wall itself. It was
Okay.
mostly it, like just kind of backed off for a bit.
Okay. I'll kind of usher everyone else inside and just kind of take another look.
You still have your
around the
arrow
place.
and
Yeah.
everything ready.
Mhm.
How big is the house?
It would be
I would say the size of this whole area between the kitchen and here. So I mean that's the whole house. But it's sectioned off, and in the center there's a fireplace,
it's a small,
which is in
it's a-
this room.
It's a small cottage, is
Mhm.
what you're saying. Okay.
So it's bigger than 20 feet. Bigger than a 20-foot cube.
I would say so.
Okay, just making sure.
What are you planning over there? Anyways,
Just looking at my
Um,
spells.
so there are shutters, and Nels starts to shut them and like lock them and everything. Probably won't do much, but that's
Can
what he's
I,
doing, and that's what everyone
before-
else starts to do. Except, but you guys could do what you want, but the NPCs are doing that.
So before I go in, I want to check around the house and see if
Around the house.
So is the wall all the way around the house?
Yeah, well, mostly there's that cliff, and this is at the top.
Okay.
They built this house overlooking the south,
Okay.
which is where you're
So
headed.
it's
there's
like
a
over,
river
and then
everything.
like a part of it is backed by the cliff that we came into.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's a little path that leads
Um,
up here that you were
So
on. but-
where we have stepped, do I see any of those? Because now my moonbeam has gone now, right?
Yeesh.
Do I see any of those markings and inside the wall,
markings from
like the
the-
stripe
no.
marks? Do I see them outside the wall?
Well, you aren't. Yeah, I mean the wall is pretty far away.
Because we came up the cliffside.
There's nothing that's followed you in. Looks
Okay.
like.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I guess I'll just go in then.
Okay, so everyone goes inside, and Nels shuts the door, just slams it shut, and then he just turns around. And he's like, "What was that?"
Did you hear something?
She called down the heavens and burned things. I think that
Oh,
warrants
that.
explanation.
Oh, I was like, I don't know. It was invisible.
in my
Hence the moonbeam.
The doughy.
you see Nels. There are certain individuals who have
Don't even
special
go there. I
gifts.
know what you're talking about. Magic exists, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I can do it too, but what was that?
What was that following us?
It was something that comes in handy.
We'll talk more. For now, we need to secure the perimeter. I'm not sure what else is in here. Can we at least make sure the house is safe?
I believe we can.
I
do
will
that.
go at the front door. I need someone to stand here with me, make sure that nothing else comes through this door, and everyone else search. It's a command. And you do know that it's very important to follow, so...
Why don't you keep these two with you?
Jolty McJolt is just like...
No, what are the other guys' names?
Bayleth and Detus.
Yes.
Bailiff and Detus.
Aren't those like confidence-inducing
Yeah.
names,
Mhm.
right? Like I feel so like confident in their ability
Yep.
to protect.
All right, let's do this.
He's gonna die, guys. He's gonna die.
I'm gonna go with him.
Okay. So who's going right, who's going left?
I'll go left.
I went out the front door. So.
Oh, you went out the front door? Oh, I was gonna go in.
Nels.
Oh,
no,
here
they're
he
inside.
stayed in.
They're inside. They're
He's
just guarding the
securing
front.
the front door. He's
Oh,
at
I
the
see.
front
Basically,
door.
just saying I'm staying here because I'm scared.
And
Are
then
you going
the-
outside? Are you going outside?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So brave.
Okay.
Just a little kind of stuff.
No, it's all good. You kind of like scoot
just
past them as
kidding.
they're shutting the door. Like some check out and you just kind of like scoot past them, and they're just like whatever. Just you shut the door. You're not confident they'll let you back in. If you start
So
knocking.
if he's going left, I'm going to go right.
Okay, roll perception, both of you, and I want you to roll perception too.
10.
Okay.
15.
6. But my passive is 13.
Okay, 15.
15 for
Okay,
me.
so where you go, it looks like the bedroom, just the one bedroom of the
Yeah.
house. You see on the table there is it looks like this room has been pushed apart a bit, not as nice as the other room. You do see a diary on the ground.
In the middle?
Yay!
It looks like it's just in the
Story
middle of the
time.
ground, but there's like marks, very intense marks next to it. Like you, just like a bunch of marks. So like, no,
What
no,
is
just normal marks, not
just
you.
like not
Yes,
writing or
scratchings.
something like that?
Not like in particular, but it looks almost vaguely like symbols, but it very well could just be something clawed there. But there is a diary that's sitting there that's next to some ink that's long since spilled.
And dried? Or is
Yeah.
it recent?
It's dried. It's
Okay.
a very good question though.
Okay.
There are lots of cobwebs,
And,
dust.
and you go to the left, and it's just like a reading
went right.
room.
I went left.
Oh yeah, sorry.
There's no kitchen?
There's a kitchen. It's
Oh.
the next one over. But
Oh.
this is kind of like a more like reading room, art room, just kind of like superfluous room that's kind of nice,
Is
looking
it-
over the south.
Is it dusty and...
It is very dusty. Yeah,
Okay.
it does not look lived in a very long time.
Do I have dark vision?
Yes.
Okay.
So you start to look around, and you're not finding much. Maybe some things that might interest you, but nothing is quite standing out. But you found a diary.
Well, because I rolled a 6.
And you said this room had been pushed apart. Is this something that has been
It looked like
recent
a
or a long
scuffle.
time ago?
No, it looks like a long time ago.
Okay.
Whenever this happened, with the marks on the ground.
Okay. I'm gonna pick up the diary.
I know. I can't not
Well,
picture a
thanks,
bunch of
Dave.
marks now. All right. So you briefly are like skimming through it and just kind of like it's a woman's handwriting, and from what you gather in just a quick overlook of it,
Is it in common?
it's in common.
Okay.
So let me just find that pot.
This wilderness that we're in, is this outside the Empire?
It is technically in the Empire, just uncharted.
Uncharted.
It's mostly been expanding, so they never came here. Okay, so you find a journal. Most of it seems torn up, but what you manage to gather is that a young husband and wife, human, by the names of Pan and Dara, they begged Portsmouth authorities to sell them the land. You skip a few pages. You see that they went north and settled. They hired some dwarvish workers to build them a home. They even had them build a bridge in the south part of this, like a little stone bridge that went
Did
across.
we just for my own reference? Did we come from the north?
You came from the north.
Okay.
North heading south.
Okay.
You keep reading. Someone says the Fey Woods. You keep reading. Someone says she says that she's inherited a great deal of money, and even though the authorities said it was unwise, they agreed to it because the husband was some great war hero, and so they're just like, sure, why not? Go ahead. And then you get to this one part that kind of stands out at the end, as it would. You see that one of the workers had disappeared, and another one had threw himself into the river, and they started to go crazy. The dwarves started losing their minds and mumbling to themselves about being watched. They started cursing more. They started to just like ramble. And then she said one in particular before he jumped off the cliff next to their house. And she wants to leave. You could tell she wanted to leave based off her writing. She says, they know I'm here. I mean, that's what the dwarf said. They know I'm here. And he just kept repeating it over and over, like walking by the cliff as the husband tried to calm him down. And he said, I mustn't think of them. Don't make me think of them. They're putting themselves into my head. And then he jumped. And she wanted to leave. And they were packing their things. And then the next chapter is just scribbled, quickly written. And it says this, and you can read it. That section to that section.
Do you want me to? I'm not going to read out loud.
Oh, please do.
Please do.
Yeah,
Okay.
please do.
My husband is gone. I woke up and he was away from the bed. I ran through the house and in the garden, nowhere to be found. I thought I saw a shadow run through the house, and the door slammed behind. I thought at first it was the wind, but upon entering there was a presence that made me feel as if I were in danger. I could not place it. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. Something came to me and pushed me against the wall. It smelled my head. I felt something push into my arms like claws. I heard my husband yell from somewhere, and then it vanished, and a window shattered. I write this now as a farewell. I cannot stay here. They know I'm here. I mustn't think of them. They are putting themselves into my head. My father studied the Fae. This is not the Fae. This is Shadowfell. We are touching the Shadowfell, and they see us. The more I think of them, O merciful Manny, I think it is back. Then the page is stained with ink.
Suddenly the front door opens where you're standing, just this burst of energy just blasts from behind you, and you just look, and Nels falls to the ground. You don't see anything, but you hear something moving, and it sounds like it has claws. It's in the house. It flew past you.
Did I hear it?
Oh yeah, everyone
Okay.
heard it. The wind just bursts
So
in, and
I
something's
run. And what do I see?
in there.
As in the front room.
I want you to roll perception.
God. 5.
You don't see anything but Nels and his counterparts just like prone, just like got knocked down as something burst
I'm
through the
going
door.
to-
And you see him standing at the front, just like you might
I
think
don't,
it's him.
I don't see
honestly.
anything. Do I hear like the claws?
You heard something. You can see the ground scraped with something as it moved in.
I am going to. Can I do something?
Oh yeah,
I'm
it's
going
not an
to
initiative yet,
cast.
but once you do anything attacking wise, it is initiative.
I'm like using everything. Because
Seems like
they're
a good time to
spells,
use it.
not cantrips.
Okay. I'm going to cast Fairy Fire
I like
Oh,
that one.
lovely. It's a very good one.
Mhm.
with it's a 20-foot
Burn
cube
us out.
within
Fairy
no.
fire's not actually
I know.
fun.
Within range is outlined in it's gonna be violet.
To make it extra scary.
Yeah, a violet light. And any creature in the area when the spell is cast is also outlined in light if it fails a dexterity saving throw. For the duration, objects and affected creatures shed dim light in a 10-foot radius. So any attack roll against an affected creature or object has advantage if the attacker can see it, and the affected creature or object cannot benefit from being invisible.
So even if it's invisible, it will be outlined if it doesn't fell. I mean,
You
if it fell.
see the outline.
Oh.
8 feet tall. It starts to stretch itself out as it notices you noticing it, The moment you notice it, you just see an outline of like one very long limb, like bony and stretched out, that comes to a very sharp point.
Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay, because it's
Everyone
not
can.
just my.
So in the
light,
room, you
right?
just see this violet creature stand up. You can only see like an outline of it, but it has.
Can I see it, or am I still in the room?
You're in the other room, but you can see back into the room. You definitely would have turned around at
Yeah.
that notice.
Probably would have walked towards the door.
Yeah.
Whether I
How
made
many
it or
slots do
not
I
is
have
up
in
to
first
you.
level?
I apologize. I had those written down, but I didn't put them in yet. You have 3, 4. It's in the player's handbook. I just would need to look
okay,
at druid
okay.
for a second.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it'll
Okay,
be
okay.
it'll be at the beginning where it says druid.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, so I want everyone to roll initiative if you're going to be fighting. I imagine there would be some level of.
Did it
You almost noticed it.
spell slots per level? We're on 3rd level.
Standing right
Alright.
above, like next to you.
Uh-huh.
So I need initiative rolls.
I might have to retire blue for the night because
Blue's not working out for you.
no.
So what's our initiative bonus? Yours
Initiative is
higher or
based off
dexterity.
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 Typically.
Yeah.
4.
Unless you have like improved initiative.
That's
or
okay.
something
I've already
like
like done my thing.
So 4. So you are.
Yeah, +2, 2 plus
Okay.
2. Okay, question while
Yeah.
they're doing their.
Yeah.
So you said that I can use a spell as many times as I want as long as I still have slots, right?
The ones that you have prepared, which are those ones? Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, you know
Okay.
the spells, but those are the ones you have.
Have prepared. Okay.
Correct.
So even if I don't have it prepared, can I do it? Can I do a spell that I don't have prepared?
Hold on, I think we are experiencing connection issues.
Oh,
Perhaps. I don't want to go into the fighting until I know.
Hold on.
What does it say? What
Is it working
does
now?
it say? Yep. Looks
Yeah.
like it's working now.
I have 10%. I mean, you have 10% battery, Dave.
That's okay. We are
Okay.
wrapping up. Okay. So just refreshed everybody. Sorry about that. It might have been going. I couldn't see it going, but my phone was like, "Hey, you're running out of battery." I know. All right, let's get going then. I need initiatives. So I got a 4 for Tatiana,
18.
18 for
16.
what was what'd you say your name again?
Alston.
Alston, Alston.
Mhm.
Okay, and then your name was Key. And what did you have?
16.
16. Okay, you're actually all right. Okay. All right. And go. You're up
Who's
first.
first? Me? Okay.
You see this large, like 6 long, bony claw type things that come to a point, and this weird misshapen head is like twitching really quickly as it's standing. And you can't see it, but you silhouette as you see her just like put up this like barrier of like light, and you see this kind of violet creature standing there, standing about 8 feet tall.
Okay. I am going to cast fear on it.
Okay.
So it has to, let's see, projecting the phantasmal image of the creature's worst fears. Each creature in a 30-foot cone must succeed on a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Does a 16 beat it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you see it like shake its head, and it looks over at you, but it is not its turn. Was that your action? Or are you doing anything else? Bonus action?
That was an action.
You can still move. You can do other things. But what are you planning on doing?
Nothing.
Okay. So it is now Key's turn.
Okay.
We need to kind of move semi-quick, so if everyone can kind of prepare, because it's got 10%.
Okay, that's
And
fine.
I'd hate to die. I'll be watching this to make sure it
Okay.
doesn't happen.
I am going to use one of my Battlemaster maneuvers for goading attack. So I'm going to spend one of my superiority dice, which is
Okay. It's a D6.
I think it's a D6 or a D8. It's a D8.
Oh.
So it's a D8. So when you hit a creature, so let me roll to hit it first.
So you're shooting at it.
I'm
from the
shooting
room.
at it with my bow.
So through the bedroom door.
Natural
Nice.
20.
That's a hit.
Okay.
I'd say so.
So then with my superiority dice, that's an 8. So with that, when you hit the creature with a weapon attack, you can expend 1 superiority die to attempt to goad the target into attacking you. You add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll, and the target must make a wisdom saving throw, DC 14.
Okay.
Okay.
Rolled a 15.
Okay.
But what is the wisdom? It's a wisdom saving throw?
It's a wisdom saving throw.
So it just rolled 13.
Okay, so on a failed save, the target has disadvantage on all melee rolls against targets other than me.
Nice. Cool.
So my damage for that one is going to be another D8.
Since you highlighted it with Fairy Fire, does that give people advantage? Because I believe it does. I just want to check.
So,
Fire there.
oh my gosh.
Any attack roll against an affected creature object has advantage
So
if the attacker
everyone-
can see it.
If you can see it, then you can have advantage on
Yeah.
the attack while the Fairy Fire is active.
Okay, so
But
With-
you rolled a natural 20. It's not good.
yeah, with my critical, is all of the damage doubled?
In this case, oh wait. So, yeah,
My critical.
yeah. I'm gonna say
Okay.
yes.
13. 38 points of damage.
Okay.
And you know what? For one, just for kicks and giggles, I'm gonna have spent one of my twice per day shadow arrow capabilities for an additional 2d6. That's an added 12. So hold on, 12 plus 19 is 31 times 2, 62
Damage.
damage.
Jeez. Is it dead yet?
Nope. It is not. But you see it stick into its neck.
That's how you want that, right?
Yeah.
Plus 2d6.
Yep. But don't worry, I adjust all things accordingly.
Yeah, I know you do.
But no, I already pre-did it, so it's not
Yeah,
like
I
I
know.
do it during.
I know.
That's a cheap move, and I will never do that.
Right.
If you one-shot something, it's the way it is. But you critical hit it. You shot it into the neck.
Right.
You know, it's a very... Oh, and I do crit charts.
Oh, you did crit charts.
I sure do.
So do we want to do that instead of the double damage?
It's up to you.
I'd rather do a crit chart.
Okay, so I want you... this is the one I use. So I want you to roll percentage die. So instead of the 62,
Yeah.
it'll be 30,
You get 31.
31.
So it's 8, so 13.
Because this could be worse or better.
Yeah, 13 plus 12 is 25 plus 6. So yeah, 31. Okay, plus the percentile, which is 40.
40, even.
40 even.
After your attack, you can choose to automatically succeed in grappling your opponent if you have a free hand, or shoving your opponent with both hands if they're in use. So I'm going to say you can knock it back.
I'm not in melee with it.
You're not, but I'm going to say with your arrow, it knocks it back.
Okay.
So to not waste it.
Okay.
You send it into the wall, which gives it, I'm going to say it gives disadvantage on its next roll.
Okay.
Attack
it-
roll. I
Yeah,
should say.
and it has disadvantage if it attacks anyone except me with
Right.
a melee attack.
Right. So I'm going to say if it attacks you, it also has for this round.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Next, we need you, Tatiana.
I next.
Yes,
When, okay. Whatever.
because it rolled less than you. Actually, it
Mm,
rolled a natural one to
But
start.
you put me.
Yes, that was because I was
Okay.
putting.
So I'm going to cast Moonbeam, but I'm actually supposed to roll for that, huh? Because it's a ranged attack. Am I supposed to roll for that, or is it just because it's a spell?
In this case, it says it's just an action,
Oh,
but you're
okay.
planting.
Do they have to roll a saving throw?
Yes.
Yes, so it's
that's
that's
Oh,
that's
that's the
basically
thing.
the hit and miss
Yeah.
part of it.
Oh,
Oh, is that? No. Hold on.
Yeah, you could do some damage. I planned for this. Don't worry.
On a critical hit,
No,
arrow
it
explodes,
doesn't
causing
ha-
half damage to nearby.
yeah, okay, it
guys.
does.
I don't think there's any
So the arrow
I guess.
explodes.
It has to take a
That's
Constitution
Like
saving
right
throw. So I'm gonna cast Moonbeam on it again.
Okay, so
Oh,
coming
well,
through
not again, but I'm gonna cast Moonbeam again.
all the windows.
Because I'm thinking, is this the same thing that's been following us?
Okay, I want you to. Oh, I have to roll a saving throw. I rolled a 5.
Yay!
And so that is it is not.
Because
Yes.
you're supposed to beat this, right? 13? Right?
Yeah,
Am I supposed to be adding that?
every attack roll. Yeah,
okay,
for
but
magic.
I haven't done an attack roll.
For magic, no. you have
Okay.
not. Okay, so I want you to roll your damage.
Oh. 2d10. What's a d10? Is this a
So-
dent? This
yeah.
one?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
So roll that twice.
9 and 5. So what is that? 14.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You think it's going to be one amount of pain to it, but you see it just freak out and start twitching as you hit it with this light. It just starts freaking out, like a lot more than you thought it would.
Okay.
It seems to be very effective in Pokemon terms.
Okay. Radiant damage, but I just used the
But-
last one, so.
Yes, and it hurt it very badly. Okay, and now it is its turn. It starts frantically looking around, and it looks at you through the door that just hit it really hard, and it starts to sprint towards you. You see it just bolt, like in this inhuman movement, and 15 and 13, and then its attack bonus is +3. So 13 is its lowest, 13, 14, 15, 16.
It hit.
It
Six
hit.
with my shield. It's a 16.
Okay, so it embraces you.
Okay.
But what I mean by embrace you, it has these long, like, bony things, and it pulls you to it and stabs you through the back as it's embracing you. You are now grappled,
Okay.
and you must make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. DC. Doesn't
DC.
matter if I
DC 15.
doesn't matter I fumbled.
Okay, you take 48 psychic damage. 5, 6, 8. Oh, 8 plus 6 is
14,
plus 5
19,
plus 4.
23. 12 plus 12 plus 11 is 23.
Okay, and then if the target is until the grapple ends, the target is frightened because this really bony, creepy thing just is hugging you.
Oh, I think we died.
Oh no. It's okay. We'll fix that.
Okay, we're good. It was 10% now.
Okay.
So it's okay. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
we just moved that. Yeah. Okay. Are we back up though? That's the question. It's the real question. We are. Okay. So let's. Sorry. It's all very exciting. The wind and the water coming through. It's
So that's how
practical
much damage
effects.
it did?
Huh?
That's how much damage it did was 23.
Yes. Damage. The target is grasped. Okay, medium or smaller creature. Until the grapple ends, the target is frightened, and it takes. 8 psychic damage. Oh, I'm sorry. 3 more damage to that.
Okay.
At the end of each of its turns.
Okay.
So if it continues this grapple, it's going to do that continually.
Okay.
I'm just. Yeah.
That's fine.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. That's what I'm
All
doing.
right. It is now top of the round, except this time, Nels stands up, and he has his rapier, and you see him shaking, and you see him just throw out a little firebolt at it as he's kind of like backing away.
Oh, he can do magic?
Well, actually, I don't know if any of you knew that, but I don't
He
have a
did.
D10
He did
right
mention
now.
it.
Where's my
Here,
D10?
you can have mine.
Roll your percentage.
That's a 10.
That's a D10. Okay. He does 6 damage. Okay, as a reaction, we'll stay sprayed. Grab food, creature dignity. Okay. Okay, you take 6 damage.
Me?
As it hits it, its reaction, it digs in a little deeper.
6 damage?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So you notice the second it hits, that firebolt hits, it just pushes a little bit harder.
Okay.
This is I don't wanna.
It's fine.
All right,
And
it
you
is
guys are
now.
still doing. Is it still
Alston, your
outlined?
turn.
Is it still outlined?
It is outlined.
Still.
Yeah, and everyone still has advantage.
Okay,
But
okay.
Alston, it's your turn.
Okay. All right.
Bum, 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 bum.
Okay. How close am I?
You are all within about 30 feet of it. No matter where you're at. It's all in this room.
So I can run up and
Yeah.
do a physical attack if I wanted to.
Well, you're actually closer than that. You're about like 20 feet because you were right at the
Okay.
entrance, and it's just to the side of you.
But it ran to attack me.
Yeah, which the door wasn't very far
Yeah.
away, and it's right in the doorway where you were. So
I'm gonna run up to it and grab it with my left hand, which you guys would be seeing for the first time. Instead of fingers, I have claws, and I'm
Do
gonna
you usually wear a glove?
long sleeves.
Oh.
like really like floppy
Yeah,
long
yeah.
sleeves, like the shirt's too big.
Like dopey?
We just thought your sleeves were big. All right, let's go. We actually.
Yeah.
Who knows if it can die
so
soon,
it has to roll a saving throw.
Okay.
It's gonna be.
I rolled a natural 1, so no matter what it is.
Well, okay. It would have had to beat a 16. So. 7.
7 damage.
Yes.
What damage? What type of damage?
Necrotic.
Ooh.
And. Is it resistant?
No,
Um,
it doesn't seem so.
I probably would have sensed that, right? If it was.
You knew immediately
Okay.
it was. It reacted just
I am
fine.
actually going to unnecessarily use life leech. It's 2d6 as a bonus action.
Okay.
So that's another 6, and it gains 1 level of exhaustion.
Ooh.
Yeah, and
That's fancy.
yeah. Unless its
That's one of
challenge
your
rating is
spells.
higher than my level. Okay.
It does not get
Okay,
exhausted.
but it does take that
But
damage.
that's a cool move,
Yeah.
though. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Rare that the challenge rating will be lower than, depending.
It depends, yeah.
It really, if
on
it's a
what the
mob
room looks
creature,
like,
then
yeah,
maybe.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but anyway, but yes, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It is now Key's turn.
I
You are being hugged by this thing.
I know. I am going
You're also
to
frightened.
escape the grapple, okay, and I can use my action to escape using either athletics or acrobatics. In this case, I'm going to use acrobatics against an opposed athletics check by it.
Okay.
Natural 20.
19.
So a total there's
awesome.
26. for
Yeah,
me.
but you
Awesome.
rolled a natural 20, even if it rolled.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really close, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I see you're doing is its claws are on your back. You push off against one of its arms, push off against another, and kind of jump out of its grip as if it's like 6 arms that are
Yep.
pegging into you. The claws against your back is just excruciating, but you manage to escape. You are still frightened of it.
Yes.
But you are out of its grasp.
I'm going to use my
Which is pretty darn good because the next move was going to do another additional damage, which probably could have killed you.
It definitely would have. I am going to use my bonus action
Homo punches.
to use Second Wind, which is 1d10 plus my
Is he still grappled?
level.
No, he natural 20
Okay,
jumped
okay,
out of
okay.
it.
That's right. Okay.
10 plus 3, so I get 13 back.
Nice. Second wind is a beautiful fighter skill.
Okay.
It's like,
And
no, I want to live. It's pretty much
I'm going to use my action surge to do one additional action.
Okay.
So at that point, as I'm jumping out, I notch an arrow, second wind, and then fire.
Okay. Do it.
That is a 20.
It's a hit.
And am I in melee with it?
You're actually kind of flying up. Like you're acrobating natural 20, so you're like kicking off it and shooting as you're falling towards the bed back behind you.
Okay. Then,
Kind of like bounce on the bed.
for the sake of it, I'm going to do
Cool point.
a shadow arrow as well, my second one of the day.
Okay.
So that's 1d8, which is that, and 2d6 of necrotic, which is another 10. So 17 plus 6 is 23.
Nice. Nice way to get away and damage it. So you shoot it directly into the chest and it kind of stumbles back into the area. And now it is Tatiana's turn.
So did his arrow affect it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to use both my whips. So I have to roll for both of them, right?
You roll for both, and you can, with your ability of dual wielding,
I add-
you can add your proficiency bonus
Is
to
that
both.
this right here?
Yes.
Okay. This
That's a lot
or
of
this?
damage. No kidding.
This one or this one?
But
with this,
I
it's plus
used a lot
two.
of
Plus 2.
information. I used a lot to
Of your
ability
Natural
right
1
Okay, that's one of them.
and a natural 20.
Okay, this is
Even
how
up.
I see this happen. She throws one of her whips, and it wraps around one of its like arm claw things, and it pulls her up, and she kind of flies to the air. She gains her balance, and natural 20. Do you want crit chart or double damage? Because crit chart could be great. Double damage is awesome too.
Crit chart.
Do you have a
Okay.
fumble chart too?
I do. Of course I do. All right,
I did a natural 1 and a natural 20 in the same
Yeah.
thing.
you're lucky. By the way, it was going to pull you towards it. So I need you to roll a percentage die. You can use mine in a d10. 20.
No, that's an 8. The 80.
Oh, 80. I'm sorry. It's on
and
the wrong
then
one.
10.
So straight 80, right?
I don't know.
Roll an additional set of damage dice above and beyond your normal critical roll. So I need you to roll your damage again.
Oh, I didn't roll damage.
Well, then roll damage twice, essentially.
You said, oh, okay, I didn't roll my damage.
It has to
okay.
be, basically
Okay.
you're getting 2 chances to roll
Okay.
damage against it.
Okay, so 4 is the first one.
Was it a 1?
Yeah. I always roll.
But you roll it twice. So you're trying to get the highest of the 2, is
Oh.
basically what it's going to be.
6!
Okay, so you roll 6 plus 5.
I want to, like, pull my whip that. Is it wrapped around?
It's wrapped around like
And
the
I'm-
top tentacle
and I
area.
want to
Tentacle, I guess.
rip its head off.
Oh, so the other one comes around its head,
Yeah.
and the bone one, so
Yeah.
it kind of like serrated knife-ish rips its head off, and it freaks out, and it actually like starts crawling a bit on its stuff as it's moving around the room, and it just like starts twitching, and then it comes into full view, and you see this,
Oh, scary.
and that is where we will end the night since we're probably close to dead. But we'll pick up from that point next time. To be announced, because we do have another campaign that we're consistently shooting, and also your wife is close-ish, having a baby. Congratulations! And we'll let you know when we're planning to do this next. Hopefully within the next couple weeks, but we'll let you know. But we want to do this consistently until Saltmarsh comes out, and then we want to do a few more with the added information that they have. But thank you so much for sitting through this and watching and joining, and all you people commenting.
Sitting through it. When you say that, it makes it sound like it wasn't
Thanks
enjoyable.
for bearing through it. Actually, this had more views on it and more likes than the last few videos, so it's all good. We appreciate it very much. Make sure you tune in for the next one to find out more about what's going on, and hopefully they can get out of this awful place. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. And as always, may your rolls always be natural ones, just not natural ones. But hey, if you're going to roll a natural one, follow it up with a 20, am I right?
Yep.
Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.